welcome back to another episode of the Oner podcast, the podcast where we break down and review films all in one big, long, unbroken take. I'm Austin Archer, and with me, as always, is my childhood next-door neighbor and lifelong best friend,
Kramer England.
And we're talking about Scream 7. They did another one.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Again.
Yes.
What is
for
it
the
this
seventh
time?
time?
Which one? What's your favorite Scream movie?
Yeah.
It should just be that now. He's like, do you have a favorite Stab movie? And they're like doing meta commentaries. They're like, I like Stab 3. And he's like, you like the PG-13 Stab? And he's like, that one doesn't. It's like, well, I like. And then they have like a different Jenny McCarthy. It's like, I like that they had like Henny McLarthy in it or something. And
that would be good.
And it's I don't know. It's just
I know, even more meta.
Yeah, even more meta. I said this in my okay. First of all, this is our spoiler discussion.
Spoilers.
If you want a spoiler-free talk, you can go look at our first thoughts on the channel now. If you haven't seen the film yet and you would like to see the film, we're going to be getting into spoilers. We're going to be getting into who's wearing the ghost face mask.
Yeah,
this
pretty
time,
quickly. So
and all the stuff. So that's consider yourself warned. But Kevin Williamson is back as both the writer and director of this one.
He's only directed one feature before this, so
yeah, it's crazy.
I know,
and you would think like that's cause to be excited that Neve Campbell is back, not just in a cameo role the way that she was in Scream 5, but as the main character again, as
the final girl.
Along with her, she's sort of co-final girls with the actress that plays her daughter in this film.
We gotta talk about some family stuff. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, sure. We'll get into it. But yeah, you would think like this, okay, hey, maybe we're going to get back on track here because 5 and 6 were a little like, I'm not sure. That the whole, like the new generation thing is working as well as they wanted it to. The drama with having to fire, what's her name, and all of that aside. I just don't know that the movies were working very well. I said this in my first thoughts. To me, what's interesting about Scream as a franchise, as a slasher franchise, is that it has this meta narrative element going on where it can be self-referential and self-aware in a way where it can be very overtly self-aware and self-referential, not just to earlier Scream films, but to the slasher genre as a whole, because it's a franchise that exists in the real world where the Halloween franchise exists, where where the Child's Play franchise exists, where the Friday the 13th franchise exists. So the franchise, it's got its own little unique identity. And then also inside of the Scream universe is the Stab universe. It's got its own series of films based on the Scream movies. And so it's a big reason why I enjoy Scream as a franchise, because it's got a lot going on just in the in-universe aspect that's like interesting. But I don't think the meta narrative has had anything really particularly new or exciting to say since like the fourth one. And
that's what I felt about this one, is that they almost didn't lean into the meta-ness of it too much. Like they kept saying, but that's the movies, this is real life. And I'm like, no, it's not. So they almost like tried to get away from that. Like they didn't have rules in this one, and again, that's not necessarily bad. I'm not saying that that's a bad choice, but it wasn't executed well in this version because
but they've still got all the rules, right? Like you still gotta shoot the killer in the head. Still got, like there's all these things that it's still like, hey, it doesn't matter what you do to Ghostface. If you don't shoot Ghostface in the head,
he's gonna
not
still
dead.
Live. And that was the main one. But I mean, don't say I'm gonna be right back. It just, I don't know. It was interesting, and I get it. Like I after 7 movies, how I don't know how to keep it fresh. I don't know how to keep it like going. Like
that's the problem with slasher franchises in general. Is like I said this in my first thoughts, that like to me, Halloween has never really done anything as interesting or compelling as just the first two films. Like with all the lore building that they tried to do to try to explain the supernatural elements of Michael Myers, and they went back and retconned that and kind of undid some of that stuff with like H2O, and then they completely undid that with the new Halloween trilogy that they just did, where they just pretended like all the other films in between, you know, it just feels like Michael Myers exists in his best form as just the Shape, the boogeyman, whatever you want to call him, from the first evil. Just from the first film, just this force. And any other time they try to deepen that lore with any of the successive films, it's just sort of, it takes away from the mystery that makes it so unsettling and unnerving. And if ever there was a franchise of slasher films that has a reason to keep going narratively, it's this one. And it's that reason is the meta commentary that is being made on the genre itself and on Hollywood and on Hollywood's role of the proliferation of violence and culture and things like that. And so as long as, like, if you want to continue making like a quote unquote good Scream, if you quote unquote good Scream movies, you've got to just figure out like what part of that element, or like, what are you saying now? What's the new? And I feel like lately, like since movie 4, 5, 6, and 7 have just felt more like, well, we got to make more Scream movies because there's more money to be made. Like this movie is making money, and it feels like anything that you could say after doing 4 of them has been said and said again and said again. And like you said, it's really difficult to like I saw a review that was like, well, a Scream movie is only as good as the reveal of the killer. And I was like, well, the killer reveal hasn't been good since the first one. like it's been a reach every movie since then, because it's always like, oh, it's Billy's long lost cousin who like was mad that, and it's like,
that's the problem too, is because like, yes, this is parodying slasher movies, but not a full on parody like Scary Movie. But like, it's also so close to that anyway. So it's like, you could do, but then with this one, all right, with Scream 7, there's really no connection to anyone, which also made me like, that's weird. Like that, it's her neighbor who's obsessed with her, and the warden, or just a worker at the psych ward, like it doesn't, because of the lack of connection, it was kind of like, and the fact that they didn't say anything about that being weird made me almost want them to push it more and to say something like that. But I mean, okay, and here's the thing. I said this in my first thoughts as well. I have not seen a Scream movie since Scream 3, like as far as a new Scream movie. So I haven't seen 4, 5, and 6. So I decided to go in, you and I talked about this. I decided to go in just blind. Like, okay, I'll just see how I like it, just to see, because I haven't seen it, and I wasn't going to take the time to watch all the other ones. So I did that, and there's a lot of things in there that horror fans will like. Some of the ways that they off the characters were good. I definitely felt it got way too repetitive. Like they kept showing the ghost face, and then he'd go away. And then like, and I was like, okay, you guys have done this before. Like I've got it. I got it. Yeah. So that wasn't really like, that didn't really do anything for me. But so I watched it and I was like, okay, that was fine. I didn't really love it. And then I got home and I watched a recap of all the movies that Screen Crush did, which I thought was great. But it made me more confused. Like, because when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is probably from another movie. Like, her husband was surely mentioned in another movie.
No.
And the fact that she has kids was surely mentioned in another movie. No, it wasn't.
Nope. So, the whole time I was like, her daughter's 17?
Yeah.
I was like, she did not mention that she has a kid in 5 or 6.
No. And I was like, okay, is this her dad? Or did they mention that like, oh, it's Billy's daughter, and like, but that wouldn't make sense because it was way too long ago. So I was like, well, maybe it's mentioned in one of the other movies that like, because it didn't seem like Joel McHale was really her dad.
No.
Anyway, but no, her
daughter's dad.
Yeah, her dad.
No, yeah, they didn't. It seemed like he was like a stepdad.
Yeah, because they have another little kid, and the
Yeah.
little kids are in it for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, why do you even have them in there?
Right.
Why don't you just have an only daughter?
Totally.
What's the point? That made
Exactly.
no sense to me.
Yeah.
And I was fine in the movie because I was like, oh, they're probably mentioned in the Scream 5.
Yeah.
No, they're not. It made me so confused.
No, I'd have to go back and check. But I was sitting there thinking,
sure they don't.
I'm pretty sure as well.
I haven't seen him, but yeah, that's what they said.
If she has a 17-year-old in 2026, I can't remember when Scream 4 came out. I want to say like 2009, 2008, something like that.
Yeah.
But that would mean that she had that kid like the next year after that film, like that she met Joel McHale and they had, when did Scream 4 come out?
2011 or no? Why is it not getting to the movie? Scream 4. Oh, duh. There. Yeah, 2011.
Okay, so that means that she would have like an infant in Scream 4.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And Joel McHale should be in that movie because that movie takes place in Woodsboro, and it's like back in, and she's got like a niece in that movie. Her niece is the killer in that movie.
Yeah.
And which this is what I mean when I say the reveal of the killer has not like it's not Scream 4 is an interesting evolution on the meta commentary because it's the first movie where so with Scream 2 and Scream 3, they're doing a thing with Scream 2 is basically just the meta commentary is just sequels. It's just this is what happens in the sequel. And so all the rules are here's what happens in a second movie. Here's what happens in the sequel. And the killer is Billy's mom, which again, like it's not great. Like it's not great that Billy's like 55-year-old mom is going around and or I guess Laurie Metcalf was like maybe in her mid to late 40s in that movie. It's like that's who's going around slitting throats and stuff. Like
I know
it's pretty like right off the bat. It's like there's never been a better killer than Billy and Stu. Like that's
that's
and the idea of two teenage boys sort of riling each other up to do something really horrific is not only more believable than any other movie, it's also more scary. It's also it's more grounded and everything since then. Not only is it Billy's mom, but it's Billy's mom teaming up with some kid at the school, Timothy Olyphant, who's just like a movie fan. And like Billy's middle-aged mom is like, hey, want to team up with me and be the new killers? And he's like, you betcha, old lady. Like,
who are you?
Yeah, but what I basically feel about the Scream sequels is it no longer becomes about how scary who's under the mask actually winds up not mattering anymore. It's just kind of like it's always kind of stupid after movie 1.
It is.
And what matters now about the movies is like what you were talking about is like, are there interesting kills? Are there fun little cat and mouse scenes of tension? The tropes of like calling someone on the phone and asking them what their favorite scary movie is and what scary things Ghostface says to a person before he jumps out of a closet to chase them. But yeah, the second one was about sequels and about sequel tropes. The third one was about the Hollywoodization and the franchisement of the stab films. That like in the second one we introduced the concept of a stab movie franchise. In the third one we're seeing the franchise sort of take on a life of its own and become, which it's also like really messed up that in this universe there's a popular franchise of slasher films that are based on real life like because like we have true crime movies but we don't but also like you have to imagine that in the real continuity of this universe this keeps happening to Sidney Prescott and Gale Weathers.
They keep making the movies
right but it's like
and even the movie stars got killed in the third one. All of them get killed.
And I guess if you're Hollywood, it's like it's a story that's too good to not keep making the movies. It's like I don't know, this keeps happening. How do we not keep cashing in on it? If we were willing to do it the first time, why would we not do it for the second? But it is messed up. But I also think that's part of the meta commentary. But it's also the thing that makes the movies get increasingly more ridiculous and more and less grounded and less believable. And and then the fourth one, what was nice about the fourth one, it was the first time that it was sort of like the reinvention of like, okay, we're back in Woodsboro now. And these young kids, a new generation. It's the fourth one basically did what the fifth one wanted to do before the fifth one. It was like the fifth one didn't need to exist because the fourth one already covered it, which was a new generation of killers wants to make their own stab movie. And that's what the fourth one is like they're going to be copycats of the stab films, and they're basically filming everything. The thing that's interesting in the fourth movie is that the killers like wear like body cams and they film themselves doing these things. And that aspect of it was also like a little more disturbing and a little more scary, that like they were little young like novice filmmakers who were imitating the stab films. And it also helped, but then it's like when you find out that it's Sidney's niece and she's just like jealous of all the attention that Sidney got from it's just like, okay, stupid. Like the reveal is always kind of dumb once, you know. And it's also like Emma Roberts, who plays her niece, weighs conservative, like being like, and I'm trying to go on the heavy side of like, what's the heaviest she could weigh? And it's like 130 tops is the most she could possibly weigh, but more probably like 120 or 115.
Well, and even the other killer, right, is
Rory Culkin.
Rory Culkin, and he is tiny too, right?
He's like 5'4".
It's like,
and weighs probably 130.
Yeah, like there's not a third one, right? Because this one is just those two. It's like, at least in two, it's like, oh, she's got the other guy. He's younger, he's bigger. I mean, Timothy Oliphant, right? Like, and then in the third one, it's her, you know, brother or whatever. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And like even in this one, like there's three technically, and the other two are guys, and the one girl, I'm like, she didn't kill anybody because it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, in four, it's like those are two really tiny people.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, but yeah, sorry, go on.
But then five basically just does four again. Five's like, it's a new generation of teens in Woodsboro, and it's the new generation that's trying to recreate what, like, the killers are basically fans of the Stab franchise, and they're trying to like recreate the Stab movies with a new generation. And it's just sort of like, well, you already did this with four.
Yeah.
And then six is just like, six is so weird. So five, the killers are Jack Quaid and Academy Award winner, what's her face from Oner, Mikey Madison. Yeah. And they're just Stab fans. They're just sort of fanatic.
Which that one was more about fan culture, right? Like
But four already was doing that. Like four was already about like the fans trying to make their own little film. And then six is just fan culture again. And seven is just fan culture again. Like it's just been fans for the last four films. And that's so like it does feel like the franchise is sort of out of things to say as far as the perpetuation of the narrative, of the meta narrative. But yeah, there's this sort of interesting thing at the beginning of six where there's another duo of killers who are fans of who get offed by the other killers. The other killers are like, we only want one gang of ghost faces going around in Manhattan. So there's like multiple gangs of ghost faces going around killing people. And it's like, which again, the series just gets increasingly more and more ridiculous, and it strays from the realm of the real world more and more.
And I think I think it's a good point, because this movie, the fact that it again is just fans, like at least Scream 6, that they're the family of Quaid, right? Jack Quaid. Like, so that's why they did it. Like, oh, they kind of brought back the connection.
Which also it's just like, so this whole family is just insane murderers.
Hey,
like,
let's go kill all these other people. Yeah.
That's how that works, is like, our brother, our son was a killer, so let's all become I don't know.
Yeah. Which again, but I like that better than just, oh, you helped me get away from my abusive husband, so now I'm gonna become a killer. And like, hey, I like this really hot girl, so I'm gonna help her be a killer. Like, that doesn't like, I get the ridiculousness of that, and it fits more in this franchise. Whereas this one, I just was kind of like, oh, okay, that's really thin. Like,
definitely
too thin.
But I guess my defense of it is just because I don't disagree with the critique at all when people are like, the killer reveal is weak in Scream 7. But I'm like, yeah, totally. It has been since the second movie. I think if you actually sit down and look at all of them, it's like, it's always like the only one that really works is Billy and Stu. And the rest of them, you have to just kind of go like, sure. You just have to go like, okay, like, sure, why not? Right. You know? But I will say 7 you feel the fatigue of it more.
Yeah.
Because especially just that, like, all 3 of the people are just kind of nobody.
I know.
They're just sort of 3 random people that are just like, like the only one that's really connected to the Scream universe is the woman, because she read Sidney's book and was inspired by Sidney's book.
Yeah.
But then the other 2 guys are just like, I don't know, this lady came to us and was like, hey, be killers with me. And we were like, okay.
Like, one's crazy. I get that. The other one's not. He works there. He works at a mental hospital. What?
But he's like, I don't know. She was pretty and she was nice to me.
She looked nice and I was nice to me. And I know AI.
Yeah. So the other one of the main killers is Ethan Embry from the movie Can't Hardly Wait. Which I will say, like, this was one of those things where as soon as Ethan Embry popped up in this insane asylum early on in the film, I was like, well, probably Ethan Embry.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, either they're just doing like a 90s teen movie cameo from Ethan Embry here. It's Kevin Williamson, Dawson's Creek. Here's Ethan Embry. But also, like, his vibe was way off. And I just was like, it's probably Ethan Embry.
I was like, he looks enough like he looks enough like Stu that he's probably the one. And that's what I thought too, because I saw the mom and the son, and I was like, oh, it's the mom and the son. Mm-hmm. Now it ended up not being the son. Little, they set it up for that way. But then I was like, okay, well, it's still probably the mom, and definitely Ethan Embry. There's no reason that he would be in this movie for a cameo. He's not big enough to be in a cameo role that would be like, oh, look, we got, someone, Kristen Bell, right? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, she's in it for only a minute, because they're referencing the first movie with Drew Barrymore, right? Yeah. So he's not big enough to be one of those people, but he's also not small enough to not be in it more. Like, because he had such a big presence in the 90s, I was like, there's no way he's not the killer, right?
And the other way that a Scream film would use a cameo like this is what they did with like Henry Winkler in the first movie.
Yeah.
Have a guy like this in the movie, and you go like, oh, it's the Fonz,
Yeah.
And then you think like, oh, could it be like the principal who's taking revenge on the punk kids? Yeah. But then you kill him off. So you
that would
play with the idea of him as a suspect, but then you take him off the board.
Yeah.
And so introduce Ethan Embry, have him have weird vibes, have people go like, oh, it's probably Ethan Embry. But then have a scene where Ethan Embry's locking up a room at night in the asylum and he gets, taken off the board. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, I've been thinking about this a little bit too. Like, okay, this movie's making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing really well at the box office.
They're going to make another one.
And I keep wondering, like, okay, they are going to make another one. Like, at this point, when are we going to have Sidney be the killer? Like, when are we going to do something like that where she's now Ghostface and it's from her perspective?
It's the Ripley and Alien problem where it's like, how many times can this happen to this woman? This poor woman. It's just sort of like, what is her life? Yeah. It's just, and it is getting to the point where they do talk about it in this film where they're just like, your life is trauma. Your life is, and it's like, like, my goodness, this, like, how many, like, what, it's the Laurie Strode thing where the longer you go, it's just like, how many times can this keep happening to this one person before this person like kills herself or, I don't know, because it seems like, I feel like any town she moves into, the whole town should be like, can you not move here, please? Like,
please leave.
Like, go live in a cabin by yourself, isolated in the woods of, Siberia. Like, you need to.
You need to leave, please. Go away where you live by no one.
Yeah. But it also, this whole thing of just like retconning that Sidney has a whole family with Joel McHale in this small town in Texas.
Joel McHale. I love Joel. Was it in Texas?
I thought it was in Texas.
I think you're right, but I was so confused most of the time because they kept talking about New York, which I understood, but then they kept saying California. I had forgotten that they were in Texas. But Joel McHale, I love Joel McHale. I think I like him for sure. I love Community and all that. I they didn't seem to use him at all in this movie because he wasn't funny, and like I could not take him seriously because it just didn't work for me. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I guess he's been in the other movies, right? Like it's just, but no, again, it's her husband of years, at least 17, that like.
Also, even like Joel McHale, like it could be anybody, and so it is interesting.
Yeah,
but like maybe the Joel McHale casting is another red herring thing. Of like, well, if Billy was the killer the first time, and we almost make it look like what's his face from the second one, her boyfriend, Jerry O'Connell. Could be the killer in the second one. He's a suspect, but then he turns out, and he winds up getting killed by Ghostface in that movie. Or does he? He gets
shot.
Yeah, that's right.
I think,
yeah. But whoever's dating Sidney is always a suspect. So it's like, okay, here's Joel McHale, and Joel McHale would make a very formidable Ghostface because he's tall and built. But it seems like he's just there to be like a good security blanket for that. It's like, hey, Sidney and her daughter, not only is Sidney well trained in how to deal with a Ghostface killing spree, but she's got her husband is the chief of police, and he's like a big ex-football player,
it just, because like Joel McHale, he's obviously more of a comedic actor, which I think he does better in. But like in The Bear, when he was in The Bear, and he's like this stuck up like chef who is just, his ego is crazy, I was like, wow, he did really good. And he played, because he's still arrogant and he's still kind of, but like they didn't have any character to his character. Like he's, like you said, it could have been anybody. So you either make him really funny and try to lighten the situation, right? Or something that he brings in his comedic aspect, or you make him really stern or something, but it just didn't, I don't know. They didn't utilize him in any way that made it like, why do we have Joel McHale? So wasn't the worst part of the movie, but also I just kept wondering, like, why are you here?
Yeah, I didn't terribly mind it. I like Joel McHale, so I'm always happy. I'm just happy when he's got work. I just was like, hey, I'm happy. I'm happy you got a gig.
I'm happy too. I just wish that they would have used him better. It's almost like a waste. Like, oh, that was weird. Like they didn't even set him up as a red herring that they could have. And anyway, so but whatever. But the other problem that I have with this movie is, how are the first couple connected to the movie in any way? The couple that's at the house.
No, I don't get why this particular trio of killers would go to the B&B in New York in the cold open. So in the cold
California,
open,
right? It's
Woodsboro is
it in New York, or is it?
I believe it's in New York.
Okay.
It's like in like upstate New York or something. And then I think I might be wrong. Maybe Woodsboro's in California. I don't know. I might be totally wrong here about a franchise that I claim to be a fan of, but
Northern California town.
Oh, Northern California, Woodsboro.
There we go.
All right, there you go. I was totally wrong. Now I know
that's
that.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So they go to California and then back to Texas.
But why would this trio of Ethan Embry and this random mom who exist in the town where Sidney lives with her, why would they go to Woodsboro? Unless, like, my only thought narratively is like to make a statement. They're hoping that news of this gets back to Sidney, that the house, the Stumacher B&B house gets burned down, because they know they're planning on doing the AI deepfake thing with Stumacher, which is something we also have to talk about. But
we do. Yeah.
So the cold open happens with this couple goes I guess it's either the original Stumacher house or it's a recreation of the Stumacher house, because they have a really good recreation of it in Scream 3 on the set of one of the stab films. Yeah. And the guy who's talking about it keeps talking about it like it's, but also it's like the way that they reference the stab films in this movie, the way that they mix people referencing the actual story of what happened versus what happened in the films, and the films are like word for word the Scream.
Yes, they're exactly the same. Yeah.
And I'm like, shouldn't the stab films be like a little different? Shouldn't they be like,
Yeah.
Like they'll quote, like they walk into the B&B and he's like, well, this is the closet, the bathroom's over here. This is the closet that Sidney hid in with the umbrella before she stabbed Billy in the chest. And it's like, did the stab film get every single detail of the real life thing spot on?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It is weird. And I mean, I liked the opening. I thought, again, like it was done well, it was a fun little sequence, and like
I liked the effect of this guy getting stabbed in the head.
Oh yeah. That was,
I was like, that's pretty
what
cool.
you want. You want that in a Scream movie, right?
Yeah, and we've had a guy get stabbed in the head before in Scream 2, but we've never seen like this amount of detail. And I was kind of like, all right, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. And it I liked that actor. I don't remember.
He's like the go-to bro.
Yeah. Bro comedy guy. Like I thought it was a fun little relationship that they had.
Yeah.
So it was good. I thought the opening was like fun. And I liked the fact that like, I'm going to burn it all down. Like it did seem like, but then it never connected. It never connected past the opening, which I was like, who is that girl? Why wasn't she connected? Why wasn't she a friend of Sidney's daughter? Why wasn't she a friend of the family? Why wasn't she something that like would warn it just made no sense.
Why this couple and not any other couple that goes to visit the B&B? Why? And it seems like this is a leftover from an earlier draft of the script, because it seems like what Ghostface is saying in this opening sequence is, I'm burning down the past. Like I'm burning I'm burning everything. This is like a refresh start. Yeah. It's I'm burning all the history down. So I'm burning down the B&Bs. I'm gonna it might be an interesting film if this killer is going around killing everyone who's doing podcasts about it and basically just trying to like erase the history for a fresh start. Something like that. But it never winds up coming back. And it's just like, nope, it's just 3 random crazy people in the small town where Sidney lives, who just are like, we're gonna do it again. And the first guy that gets killed, which we actually don't have to shoot this guy in the head, he just gets run over by Gale Weathers and he is dead. But the way the movie does the whole like how he like is in Sidney's coffee shop earlier that day, and she's like, and he grabs his coffee and looks at her like, and it was just so like, do we need that? Do we actually like? It might be more interesting if Gale Weathers runs this guy over with her car. They take the mask off and everyone's like, who is that? And no one knows who it is. And then they have to go track down who he is. And they find out he's a patient for, but the fact that Sidney's like, I saw him at my coffee shop earlier today.
Yeah.
I don't, it feels not like Scream to have a killer introduction that's so blatantly over the top. Like have a guy, just a random nobody drifter walk up to Sidney in the coffee shop and be like, and then like walk away and
some coffee.
Right. And then later be like, it's that guy. I'm just like, oh, well, that feels like too, like it's not, whoever is so obvious is supposed to be not the person, right? Like that's, I don't know. But also it's like, he's just nobody. He's just a random guy. And I think it would be more interesting maybe if they didn't do that introduction for the character.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah.
And they discover the other people through him. Yeah. But still, I think the other 2 people need to be more connected as well. Somehow.
I think they do. And there were some other, I mean, I guess I can forgive this, but like, they go into the house. Oh yeah. Cause I guess the first person who's close to the family is McKenna Grace, right? Like she's the one that gets killed first with the Tinkerbell thing, right? Which was a good.
It was solid. It was a little bit of a retread. We've done the like backstage at the play thing. Like we've done that in a couple of. We did that in Scream 2, and we did like backstage in the costume closet in Scream 3. Like we've sort of been there, done that, but
that's right.
But it was a decent sequence. It was
and she dies, and that's what it is. But then they go to the house, and the 2 cops are like, all right, we're gonna sweep the place, and they go through the entire house, which they miss the attic, which is like okay, but then they just like leave, and they're gone, and then the killer's in the house. And I was like, where are the cops? Like, wouldn't they stay in the house? Like,
How about this? I'm jumping way forward here. How about Sidney, who like her whole life is about dealing with threats and dealing with this stuff. Sidney's supposed to be like the most. How about Sidney at the end of the movie when she tracks the killers, when they tell her that she needs to come home, that they're holding her daughter hostage back at the house, going into her house where the front door is open, walking in the front door, turning around and closing it and locking it behind her. And it's like, what are you doing? Like when she did that, I was like, what are you doing? Like the front door is open, they're in there. Don't lock yourself in. Don't like keep the door open. Like you at this point, you do not have the upper hand here in any way. You need to like keep all exits open, keep all lines of sight open. There's
it really it was that part was. And then he's got a gun. This is the other thing that I've noticed too in like Scream 2, like when the mom, is like has whoever she has, she's got a knife to her throat. I guess it's Sidney, right?
I think it's Gail. Like, I think she's got a
knife. I think it's Gail. Yeah. But like she's got her head like fully out, and like you've got a gun, you can shoot her.
Yeah.
And that's all. It doesn't really matter. And the Scream guy too is like has their daughter, and I'm like, you've got a gun. You probably have some good aim.
And the hallway is like 6 feet long. Like they're not that far
close.
Away.
They're close. Like just shoot him. Like why doesn't Ghostface like stay really, right behind her head? It just,
which is also kind of scarier too.
Yeah. And it,
I don't know. Yeah, it's again the killer reveal. Like I said, has always kind of been weak since the first movie, but having it just be these, like knowing that it's just some guy from the mental institution under there who's just like doing this because it just retroactively weakens the whole thing on rewatch where you're like, okay, so that's just Carl from that's just
crazy Carl.
And Joel McHale winds up, shooting him, and he falls down the stairs, and then he tackles him out the front door, and then Gail runs him over. But also like this whole thing of like when Sidney goes like, it's too easy happened to, I'm like, what do you mean? Like there's this weird, and this is when I say like, I don't know how to judge these films because Neve Campbell is behaving as though, Sidney is behaving as though she knows she's in a movie, and she knows she's in a movie that's only 45 minutes into its runtime. And so she's saying like, we got him too fast. That was too easy. When in the real world, it's like, there's no such thing as like the proper amount of time it needs to take to apprehend the killer. Like if you had like, if your husband, Joel McHale, had just happened to shoot him in the forehead when he was holding your daughter hostage, and it was only one killer, movie over. Yeah. And there's no reason why it has to be like, no, that was too easy. It's like, or it wasn't, or it's just, it's just some random guy putting on a ghost face mask again, stalking you because you're Sidney Prescott. And luckily this time you had your crack shot husband who's a, really
he's got
good aim, and he shot him early on in the narrative. And whatever plan this guy had, whatever movie he was trying to make was ended early. But the fact that Sidney seems to know that she's in a movie that can't be over yet, and she says it out loud like, nope, there's got to be more. It's like, why does there like maybe Carl's just a less competent ghost face than the ones it's always a different person. She always treats Ghostface like it's the same entity, and it's like it's always someone else. And but also that's why I go, I don't know if that's a bug or a feature, because the characters in these films sort of are self-aware of the kind of movie that they're in, So
I know it's weird. It's like, I don't even know how. I don't know how to keep going with it. I know it is. It's making money. So if it will continue to make money, but like the problem is it's more of a horror than a comedy. I mean, I would never call it a comedy, but it's like continues to have to be meta, and then it's too meta. Like my mind gets so strained thinking about like, well, where do you take it next? Like, how do you even do this? But they're going to.
So something we haven't talked about at all is the
Stu?
Is the Stu Macher. Is what's his name?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard of it all. So a big storyline, and I just got to say right up front that I don't think this works at all.
I don't think it works either.
Whatever commentary Kevin Williamson is trying to make about AI is.
Do you think he's trying to make a comment about it? Like,
I think so. He's always making some like these movies have always existed to make a commentary about the film industry,
right?
And obviously a big aspect of the film industry right now is AI and what is the future of screenwriting and what is the future of special effects and what is of filmmaking. And like there's a pretty heavy-handed line from one of the killer's sons, the son that is like the suspect who's the truth, where he says like, oh, I never use AI. AI is going to be the downfall of civilization. And I think having the killers use AI is I don't think that's on accident.
No. But it also just seems more like a device than I mean, I know he's making a comment about it, but it's not utilized in a way that's smart. It's just like, oh, well, the killer would use AI to make it look like it's Stu.
But so like for the trailer of this movie, you hear Ghostface calls Sidney on the phone. Hello, Sidney. Happens in every movie except for the sixth one. And she, in the phone call, she's like, you're just another coward hiding behind a mask. And he says, oh, I'm not hiding, Sidney. Not this time. And as soon as I heard that in the trailer, I was like, what does that mean? I was like, because a Scream movie, like, and then in the trailer, I was like, yeah, you are. You're wearing the mask. I was like, what does that mean? What could that possibly mean? Like, you are going to wear that costume. We can't have a Scream movie where the killer is unmasked for most of the film. And what it means in the context of the film is Sidney starts getting these FaceTimes from the killer. And it's Matthew Lillard with like scars all over his face, looking like an aged Stu Macher who survived the TV being dropped on his head in Scream 1. But like, there's a few reasons why this doesn't really work for me. Every single scene that Matthew Lillard's in, the camera work of how they do these FaceTimes is just bad.
Oh, it's just so bad.
It's just poorly executed. It's just sort of like, this doesn't feel like you're actually FaceTiming with someone. This feels like Matthew Lillard shot this on a like in front of a green screen, and like when he's like turning the call off and he goes like this and like goes doop. But it's like if I'm FaceTiming you, like you don't see my fingers touch the button.
No.
Like if I'm holding the phone, you don't see my hand, but he'll like be talking to her and be like, goodbye, Sidney. And I'm like,
so true.
And I'm just like, that's not how that works.
No.
And also it just looks way too clean. It's just way too like, and also like, that's not what AI looks like.
No.
Like
this is the thing that I hate about Hollywood all the time. They do this all the time. And this happened like her boyfriend, the daughter's boyfriend. She's like, he puts his laptop in the car, and I was like, oh, this is the point where she's going to think that it's him, but it's not him. And she opens it up and it's like, he's doing AI, and it's like, he's doing the thing and the AI is doing the same thing, but then it like morphs. And I'm like, AI doesn't do that.
Right.
Like it just makes it. We can get that. We don't have to have a stupid morph in there. Like they think that like, oh no, it's gotta be like, if you're on a TV screen, it needs to fuzz and like it needs to do that. So we know it's a VHS or whatever. It's like, no, it wouldn't do that. Like AI doesn't do that. It just is it's sort of a moral or ethical conundrum for the filmmakers, because the best way for them to have done this is just to have like gotten Matthew Lillard's permission to do an AI rendering of him. Yeah.
And actually have the scenes be like a FaceTime call with
an AI.
be Matthew Lillard, because we in the audience would have been like, there's something, because we can sort of clock it in a weird, but also it's like, I think an AI, knowing that it's trying to imitate a FaceTime call, would do the quality of what a FaceTime look. It would have, it
would have bad quality.
Yeah, and
worse quality. Yeah,
it looks like Matthew Lillard is calling her from like like a DSLR webcam or something with like professional lighting. And it's just.
Well, and did you not, the first time he showed up, once he was on camera, I was like, oh well, he's AI.
Yeah, I immediately was like, well, it can't be him.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I also thought, like, if it is, that's insane. Like, if it turns out to be him, that's insane. But then knowing pretty much right away that it wasn't him, every scene that he was in, I was just kind of like, this is stupid. Like, it just doesn't really work. And whatever commentary Kevin Williams is maybe trying to make is falling kind of flat. And it's just sort of like, is there another way to use AI that maybe feels more sinister? Because that's the other thing is Stu feels he's not scary at all in these FaceTime calls. Ghostface is scary. When Ghostface calls you on the phone and and is menacing, that's scary. When it turns into AI Stu Macher being like, I always had a thing for you, Sid, and I'm outside to get your teenage daughter's high school. I'm going in there and shit on. I'm just like, okay, this is like, you've taken Ghostface, this entity behind the phone, and the voice changer, and you've turned him into this like weird AI freak show thing that I don't know. Yeah.
How much time did it take them to make the animation of all the different people at the end when she goes in and she sees Stu, and she sees Billy's mom, and she sees her brother, and I'm like, wow, they were perfectly aged up.
Oh, I know. That's the other thing too, is it's like, okay, I get why Ethan Embry would AI age up Stu and put scars on his face, because he's trying to sell to Sidney that Stu is real and that he's alive. And they have this whole thing where Ethan Embry tells Sidney and Gail that like Stu was a guy named John Doe who was staying at the end. They try to really sell the idea that he had memory loss and that
he was alive.
And he was alive. But then when she goes into the house at the end and they do this whole like AI deepfake show of all the past killers. And I'm like, why would Laurie Metcalf and the guy who plays her brother, why would they be like appropriately aged to 2026 age? That doesn't like, why would they not just look like they looked in those movies?
Right.
What would be the point of, but it's like, it's very clear, like and it's also like, so you couldn't get Emma Roberts in here to do this. You couldn't get Rory Culkin in here to do this. You couldn't like, it's like, it's like who's taking the phone call when Kevin Williamson calls them up and goes, hey, would you come do a little cameo? Like who said yes? And it's Matthew Lillard and Laurie Metcalf and this other guy. And I love Laurie Metcalf. No shade to Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah. No, the actors, there's nothing wrong with the actors, but
I love Matthew Lillard too. He's great.
I do. I like Matthew Lillard. I enjoy him as an actor. I do have to ask, I mean, I knew it was AI, but I was really hoping that Stu would be alive. Like, I know that is crazy.
Yeah.
And I get that. But once the first shot, I was like, well, this is AI. It just, and like you, it was really stupid. But I was kind of like, okay, what if he is alive? Or even like, it's stupid, it's these killers, but then like he's in the shadows and he is still alive. Like, anyway, I know that's dumb, but it made me want it. I wanted that.
I know what you mean. When we get to the end of the film and it's just Ethan Embry and the neighbor, I was like, okay, now I do want Matthew Lillard to come out.
Yes.
Like,
I was like,
please now
be
that
alive.
it's just them, it's sort of like, don't tease me with Matthew Lillard if he's not actually going to show up, if he's not actually going to be here. And like, as stupid as that is, it was like, well, since I know that it's fake from the first scene you show me him, and since all of the scenes with him are like kind of goofy and not scary and not menacing and poorly done, the only thing that could potentially rescue that is the twist that he actually is real. But even though that would still be dumb, I just think, and I think what Kevin Williamson is trying to do, maybe if I'm being generous with the meta commentary, is like, this is the commentary on and this is what the movie 5 was trying to do, was the legacy sequel thing.
Yeah.
So movie 5 was trying to be like, this is what a legacy sequel is. The requel. They called it the reboot.
Yeah.
And movie 7 being the like third in the trilogy of the reboot, they're doing all of this nostalgia stuff of like, who can we bring back? Like, let's bring back as many people as we can bring back. Let's do lots of winks and let's do lots of like, you know, Sidney's daughter at one point wears the jacket that Sidney wears in the second movie. And that's a big thing. Also, Sidney's daughter's name is Tatum. We didn't even talk about that. You wanted to talk about some family stuff. What was the stuff you wanted to talk about with Sidney's daughter?
Just the fact that
just like how,
I never knew.
How does this family exist?
Yeah, like they have not been mentioned, and why do they have little kids that they have to reference or like that are significantly younger than her? Anyway, it made no sense.
Well, it's also like, so like a big plot point in the movie is Sidney named her oldest daughter Tatum after Tatum, who dies in the first one, her best friend from high school. But Tatum's sort of has a resentment at her mom because she's like, I don't want to be named after the girl who died in the first attack. I'd rather be named after Sidney Prescott, the girl who lived. Like, I'd rather be thought of as like, like I'd rather be Sidney Jr. than Tatum. And and she has to like explain to her at the end, like, I named you after Tatum because Tatum was, but it's so like ham-fisted, this explanation. It just seems like the only reason Kevin Williamson did this is so that there could be this conflict where her daughter's like, why'd you name me after your friend who got murdered? And, you know, and it is sort of weird because it's like, Sidney's had a lot of friends get murdered. Why specifically is, and I guess Tatum was like her first, and, you know, I don't know it, but and
it was her daughter too, was like, I didn't really get why she was mad all the time.
I mean, I didn't get it. I get that teenagers are like mad at their parents, but this whole thing of being like, oh, my mom sucks. And it's like, you know who your mom is, right? Like, do you know
how many people she's seen murdered? Like, I understand why she doesn't want to talk about it. Like, you're so dumb, Mom. Why don't you tell me about all the people you've seen get murdered?
And do you know how many different times your mom has survived those things? And just like, so when your mom is like skeptical of your boyfriend or wants you to have a curfew or something like that, and your mom is sitting like, maybe, I don't know, maybe your mom's not, I don't know.
Cut her a little slack.
But also, we're doing all the stuff. We're doing the boyfriend through the window. We're doing all the like referential stuff. And also, I just felt like the boyfriend like messing around with the AI thing was like too like, no way. Like, come on. Like, and like, we're trying too hard to pin it on, to make it look like other people are the suspects. But few things that I liked. I like some of the kills get a little stale. I felt like the scene with Joel McHale was a little like,
it was. I've seen it before.
I will say, putting the kid's head on the beer pike thing was one of my favorite things that they've done in a long time in this franchise, where I was like, that is so stupid and ridiculous and silly in a way that I'm like, I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, hey,
but that's
what you should be doing in these movies. You should be getting weird with it, you know.
But that is also that is the killer's son,
right?
I know that wasn't her who killed him, but also the fact that she just has a throwaway line of like, but your son, like you killed your son. Oh, well, he reminded me too much of my abusive husband, so he had to go. I was like, what?
It's like, did you see how he was killed?
I was like, what type of person, not even mother, what type of person would do that? And she is a victim. She's a victim of abuse. And you're basically saying that she just went crazy. Like, the levels of wrong that I felt about that were like, what the heck is going on? Like, I think so weird.
Yeah, the reveal of who the three killers are sort of makes the whole movie. That's okay. This is what I can say is the reveal of the killers from 2 to 7 has always been underwhelming and has always been unsatisfying. The big question is, does the reveal retroactively sort of ruin whatever scenes worked before that for you? Right. And I'd say for the most part, 2 through 6, not really. Like, you're like, fine, I can go with it just enough. Maybe in 4, which I like, it's a little bit like, I don't ever believe that Emma Roberts was under that mask. Like, in any one of those scenes. No way, not a chance. But here in this movie, it is a little bit like, wait, so it was just random Carl guy under there? And yet, like you said, like in the opening scene, like why did they go to the B&B in California that night? What's the deal with that? And what's the obsession with Stu Macher between these three? Why are they like trying so, is it just that they've listened to the like, and then, like, yeah, killing this kid, if it's his mom, or if it's Ethan Embry killing this kid by lifting him up and putting his head on this.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you being so extra cruel with your partner's son? Why is he getting such a like gnarlier?
Yeah.
But I will say, just like as a out of context scream kill, it was one of the more epic things I've seen Ghostface do.
Oh yeah.
Because usually Ghostface is just stabbing people with that knife. Like it's that same knife in every movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's only so many, it's sort of like Michael Myers in the first Halloween's pinning that guy to the wall with the knife, where it's like, that's not how that works. Like, that's like, you can't pin a guy to, I don't care how strong you are. Like the guy's body would not stay on the, but that's how this is. It's just one of those like over the top stupid slasher movie kills where it's like, this would never happen this way, where you lift the kid up and impale his head on a beer tap,
and then it comes out his mouth,
and then the beer comes out of his mouth. But I'm like, that's the kind of fun we should be having in these movies with these kills. It shouldn't all just be stab, stab, stab. We should be finding some fun ways to do this stuff. And so I appreciated that bit of creativity.
Right.
But yeah, overall, like, and the other thing that I like is the whole rule of you got to shoot him in the head. I was like so annoyed when Tatum shoots the neighbor lady in the chest a bunch of times, and her mom's like, "Kate, Tatum, now you have to shoot her in the head." And I was like, literally, like, I'll say this: my theater was having fun. My theater kept like yelling at the screen because
I wish I would. I wish
my theater kept being like, "Oh, come on, shoot it!" Like. And I will say,
I wanted that to happen.
I thought Neve Campbell and her daughter just like emptying 2 clips into this woman's head was pretty funny.
That was pretty good. And her face fell off. Her face falls off, which I thought that was funny too. Like, okay, that's good. And like,
and the whole thing of like, you got to shoot him in the head, but it's like, this time we'll shoot her in the head 30 times.
And her face will fall off. It was, I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, I know that was not supposed to be taken seriously, right?
But so like the opening with the guy getting like slow stabbed and his eye like falling out of his face while he's getting slow stabbed, the kid getting his head put on the beer keg, and the killer getting shot in the face till her face falls off. Those 3 things were like fun. Like in a way where I was like, because again, I'm trying to figure out like, how am I supposed to judge a Scream movie this deep into the franchise? Like, are they capable of doing a killer reveal that's not going to be underwhelming, that's not going to be stupid, that's not going to retroactively make the movie feel stupid? Should that be the expectation at this point, given all of the killer reveals we've seen up till now? Or should we just be expecting that the killer reveal is going to be underwhelming?
Yeah.
I will say that like the whole stew of it all in this movie makes it feel more underwhelming, that it's like, well, we could have had Matthew Lillard, but instead it's just randos.
Yeah. I think, if the movie was really, really good all the way up until the killer reveal, I could forgive it way more. Because like you said, the killer reveal is always kind of dumb. It's always kind of underwhelming, but if the rest of the movie is good, I would give it higher scores, right? Like I would give it more points for that. The unfortunate thing is like there were some fun sequences in this movie, but overall I was still also just pretty disappointed. Like it became bland and it became repetitive in a lot of the ways. Again, like seeing Ghostface, and like it just wasn't anything that was so, that was really as creative as it could have been. The beer tap thing, that was fun, but I wish there was more of that. It just really was pretty standard. And I mean, unfortunately, the scariest part of the entire movie was not even in the movie. It was in the trailers for the movie. Did you see the movie?
Passenger. Everyone freaked out.
That was the scariest part. I jumped so high and I was like, wow, that was awesome. and it was the best part of the movies.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. That the best scare was. So I'd say there weren't any like really great scares in the movie.
No,
there were like a few like tense scenes where you could feel the audience, like, but
it wasn't anything crazy. Which everybody should go watch that Passenger trailer. Man, that was good.
That
was
trailer
a good
was
little
awesome.
short. Yeah, it was great.
It was
little short.
Just a great little like short film.
Yeah, it was 2.5 minute short film. Like, it was awesome. Go watch that. I'll connect it on here somehow. But that
in the description.
Yeah. But the everything else was the movie. It was, and these movies aren't really like tense, scary. Like, I mean, they kind of are, but it's almost more exciting, scary. Like, things happen fast in these movies. Like in Scream, in the first one, the killer comes. You're not waiting till the midpoint. Like you're getting started, and they did that in this. And it's more kind of about the fun of it, or the excitement of it. So some of those were fine. They at least had that, but not the best of any of the franchise. I don't.
No, it honestly like probably is the worst one next to 3. But again, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like heaping praise on this film. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how harsh to be with a franchise where like it's this self-aware. And I guess this one just feels like more of a letdown, where it's like, oh, like, but I guess I still was like, I had a decent time. I think my expectations were just so low that I was like, I didn't expect, I don't think I expected it to be much better than what I got. Could it be better? Of course it could. There's also like other things, like we didn't talk about like how kind of useless Gale is in this movie, outside of running over Carl. Like, and also like the way that they shoehorn in these other 2 characters from 5 and 6 as part of Gale's team now, where it's like there is no reason why these characters would be working for Gale Weathers other than just like, gotta keep them in the movies.
But I like them.
There's no reason why they should be here. But then like Gale and Sidney are supposed to have this like, they're gonna Gale's finally gonna get her interview with Sidney, and the interview's over in like 2 seconds because Gale asks a question that offends Sidney, which is like, of course she did. Like, it's like, and it's like, what were you? But it's like, Sidney, what were you expecting? The whole point is to goad Stu into calling you on. It felt like that. Like a lot of these scenes were like, Williamson didn't really know what he wanted to do with these characters and with the, and then this movie's like 2 hours long, and it's like, doesn't need to be.
No,
could easily be, an hour 45, hour 40, hour 30. And like, if you, I don't know, they're gonna keep making these things. They're gonna keep making money, and I don't know from the meta narrative standpoint, like what's left to say. So who knows? I'll still be there because I'm a fan, but it does feel like whatever was left in the tank for this is in these last 3 films, I've been really feeling it. Like, okay. Like,
I really, really think the only way to go with this franchise, in all honesty, is you got to do it in space.
Yeah.
Scream 8 in space.
You gotta go.
You gotta go to space. That's the only place you can go.
Or we gotta like make one of the Stab movies and just be like, this one is called Stab, and it's like Stab 8, and we're like, watch it like that. Actually, hold on. How about this, internet? The next Scream movie is actually the next Stab movie, and the meta commentary is like, you are literally now watching a film that exists inside of the Scream universe. About
have Sidney be a different actress, and like, and that's how you can have Neve Campbell as the killer. We did it. We solved it. Paramount, we're available if you want us to come and write the movie for you.
I mean, like, I'm like, because what else are you gonna do?
You know what?
I don't
space
know.
thing, you can't.
Fast and the Furious. You gotta just
well, Jason X.
Jason X. Space. Jason X. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to say about that?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay, that's Scream 7. Let's get into our scores. We score movies out of 10, 10 being the best. We give a technical rating. We give a rating for the ending. We give a rating for rewatchability. We give a rating for cultural significance and impact. And we give a rating for our subjective feelings about the film. Kramer, what is your technical rating for Scream 7?
I gave it a 5. I mean, there's nothing bad. It's very middle of the road. It was very bland, you know, like the writing isn't great, but I'm not expecting it to be super great. Some of the ways that they kill the characters are, you know, fun or interesting, but other times it's also not that. So I just felt very, very not great, not bad. So just right there in the middle.
I gave it a 5 as well. Like I give it, like, again, movies get so much worse than this. Like
they do.
It could be a lot worse. And
Yeah.
in this franchise, it's not like so much worse than the others. It's not better than the others, but it's, you know, and the things that need to work for a Scream movie to be at least an enjoyable ride, it is like there's just enough sequences where you're like engaged enough, and there are, I think, just enough like inventiveness with the kills.
Right.
But yeah, like the AI stuff really falls flat, and whatever commentary is kind of lost on me, whatever commentary is trying to be made there. It does feel like it's like, I think I was fine with Sidney Prescott not being in movie 6 and also being just sort of a featured cameo in 5. Sort of like, hey, maybe we need to keep trying to move on, but I don't know. What else Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox are going to do with the rest of their lives. How about the ending?
The ending I gave a 4. I mean, it really wasn't, it was underwhelming like they always are. There wasn't much connection. So, but you can't expect too much from that. So I didn't want to give it too low, but I wanted it less because it was on the bad side.
I gave it a 5, all for shooting that girl's face off.
That's right. Yeah, that's, I understand that. Yep.
Shooting the killer's face off gives me I'm like, that's one of the better killing, because that's another kill in a Scream movie.
Like, how you kill the killers, how you kill Ghostface or those Ghostface.
And usually it's like pretty unremarkable. Like the most memorable ones are Billy and Stu, and the rest, it's just usually like they usually just like shoot them in the head. Like it's usually just like shoot him in the forehead, and that's almost always how it is. I like shooting her face off. That's fun.
Yeah, sure.
How about rewatchability?
I gave it a 4. Don't really, I mean, if I had to, it's fine. It's not bad, but I'm not gonna want to really rewatch this movie. So.
Yeah, I give it a 2. I'm like, if I have to pick,
you give it a 2. Movie, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah,
I don't want to give it a 4 then.
Yeah, no. If I have to pick a Scream movie to watch, it's not going to be this one.
That's true. It really does need to be much lower on that. Yeah.
How about cultural impact?
Cultural impact, I gave a 6. I have to give it more because it's the highest grossing Scream movie that they've made so far on opening weekend. So it's obviously doing something, and they're going to do another one. So.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 as well, just for the simple fact that like this one means there are more. We're at least getting 3 or 4 more of these things before we die.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah. So, and they'll probably keep going after that if the world's still around. How about subjective score?
My subjective score is a 4. Just, you know, it wasn't the worst thing, but I'm not a huge Scream fan, you know, so, and I'm not like a huge horror fan. There wasn't much added that was that great, but it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a 5 just cause I'm a fan, and nice. I was like expecting to really be like super let down, but I was like, oh, I don't really expect much from this franchise anyway. So I just was like, oh yeah, that was fine. Like that was fine. It's if I had to rank them all off the top of my head, this is like it probably goes like, I probably like 6 a little less than this one. Okay. I thought 6 was just sort of like, I didn't like that movie very much. And but I'd have to watch 3 again. I don't know. I have a soft spot for it because I have a nostalgic thing for it. The movie I'm like, I have a hankering to watch right now is Scream 4. That's the one that I'm like, I want to go. I feel like that's the last time that it was working for me. So that might be what I do tonight. Who knows? But those are our scores. And we are going to be watching Hoppers this next week. If you want to watch along with the show in theaters. This is a Pixar movie. We don't do a lot of like Pixar or family movies. And this is getting very, very good reviews. Yes. Pixar is a company that historically does get well reviewed and does well with critics and audiences, and this one seems to be like people are really liking it. So I know nothing about this movie. I mean, I know like a little teeny bit about the concept of like plopping your consciousness into an animal body or whatever, but I know like very, very little, and I want to go in and experience it that way. So if you want to watch Hoppers with us next week, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It'll be great to see. I mean, Pixar hasn't, it's been very mixed the last several movies. There hasn't seemed to be a consensus. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So that's the one we're watching, and we'll see you then. And like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.